In today's lesson, I will show you two different ways in which you will be able to find, at any time, the notes of all chords, either minor or major, composed of three notes, which means the major and minor triads. These are two simple methods. The first is an indirect method, tied to the findings of the previous lesson, when we found a way to build chords by superposition of intervals of a third, using the notes of the major scale. The second method I will explain today is a direct method, direct way of finding the notes to the chord, and even quicker. As you know, I always insist on considering chords in the context of the tonality and scale we're using at the time, but sometimes it may happen, for anyone, to need to know a certain chord, minor or major, independent from the tonality they're in. For example, if someone on the spot tells you, what are the notes to the F sharp chord? You have to know it independently from the tonality you're playing in. For example, if we have to find the notes of B flat minor on the spot, or the notes for F sharp major, for example. So this second method allows you in a few seconds to find the notes of any major or minor chord. So let's start from the first method though. In the previous lesson, we built chords by superposition of intervals of a third on the major scale. And we saw something quite important in the previous lesson about chords, that on the first, the fourth and fifth degrees, we would always be forming major chords. Always. This is in every major scale. And on the other degrees of the scale, except for the seventh, which we won't use right now because it's a peculiar self-standing. So on the second, third, and sixth degrees, the chords that are formed on a major scale will always be actually minor chords. So at this point, it's quite simple. You only have to grab the major scale, build the chords, and you will already know, using this pattern that we just repeated, based on the degrees of the scale that you're using, if these chords are either major or minor. Let's try this with an example. The F major scale. F, we know it goes like this: F, G, A, B flat, C, D, and E. So these are the 7 degrees of the F major scale. So by superposition of thirds, we can build the F major on the first degree. On the second degree, which is a G, we will build this chord using the notes of the F major scale, of course. On the third degree, we will build this other chord. On the fourth degree, this chord, comprised of B flat, D, and F. On the fifth degree, the chord is made of C, E, and G. On the sixth degree, we will build this chord. And on the seventh degree, we will build this chord. But as I said earlier, and as you might remember from the previous lessons, the chord on the seventh degree, called a diminished chord, is neither major nor minor and cannot be used with our method right now, so we will leave it be for the time being. The important thing right now, instead, is this. As we said a few moments ago, we already know that the chords of the major scale built on the first, on the fourth, and on the fifth degrees are and will always be major chords in the context of a major scale. So the chord on the first degree will be an F major chord, because the first note is the F. So now let's see the fourth degree, the B flat chord. The B flat note. The chord built on the fourth degree of the F major scale is and will always be, in every major scale, a major chord and will be called a B flat major chord. The chord built on the fifth degree, C, E, G, we already know this chord quite well is a major chord, so it will be a C major chord. So we already know that this chord will be F. This first chord will be F. This other one on the 4th degree will be a B flat major. And this chord on the 5th degree will be a C major chord. On all the other degrees of the scale, except for the 7th degree of course, so on the 2nd, the 3rd, and the 6th degrees, we will be building minor chords.